Well, good evening. To all who are watching tonight, we welcome you. My name is Peter Jives, for those who don't know me, the director of A Faith That Does Justice, an interfaith organization that seeks to raise consciousness about social issues that affect the most vulnerable among us. Well, we've been having these kinds of chats intermittently during the COVID pandemic as a way of checking in, touching base with all of you, and hoping that people are doing well, keeping safe. And we've touched on some of the issues that arise as we go through this time. And tonight, I just wanted to mention briefly in the post-election period, our national elections, really the divisiveness that is within the country, and maybe offer some thoughts as to how we can proceed. We've entitled tonight's talk as kind of unity begins with us. We live in a time right now following these elections where the country is extremely divided. There are people, a little bit less than the half of this country who voted, are disappointed. Some of them are actually contesting the election results, although there is no really evidence of fraud within the elections, yet it just shows the deep-seated resentment that is going on one side. And on the other side, of those who voted, a little more than half really saw this as a possibility for change. They're anxious for transition within the governments, and that's not happening. So another possibility or another real reason for disappointment among people. And in the midst of all this, we have the COVID pandemic that is raging right now in this country. Last I heard, 45 of the 50 states really are going in the wrong direction. The number of deaths since March is now up to 248,000. And with the flu coming in the coming months, especially here in the Northeast, we're likely to see a tremendous escalation in deaths in this country. So I think tonight's title of this, that unity begins with us, is very apt. We need to step back and see how, as people of faith, we might look at this where there can be more civility in our political process, our social process. And one thing that came to my mind is really another time in history, the time of Jesus, first century Jewish Palestine. The divisiveness that arose there related to Jesus really offering another way of living, really living the values of the kingdom of God, where we would love, where we would respect, where we would be compassionate towards people, and to be fair to people who don't necessarily agree with everything we're doing. And I'm reminded of one of the biblical citations that so the context was where the Pharisees were upset with Jesus, and they sent a lawyer to him, trying to trap him by asking him an unsolvable question, saying, which of the 613 Jewish commandments is the best? Now, seemingly there is no answer to that, but Jesus's response was, really, there is the first commandment of all, and it's really to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And this is the first and the greatest of all these commandments. And the second is a corollary. It's that we are called to love our neighbor as ourselves. And I think that's the key message here tonight that I see as a way out of this, or at least something to ponder. You cannot love God without loving neighbor. And yet people on both sides of this really would be talking that way. They're people of faith, they love God, but I really demonize people who don't agree with me. It's actually false. We can't be doing that and claim to be people of faith. I think what we're really called to is to look for ways to be civil, that not all people who vote one way can be considered racist. All people who vote another way cannot be considered communists. And that's the way people have been demonized by some during this election process. That kind of rhetoric really needs to stop. And I think one of the keys that we need to look for is really to step back and to listen to people who we do not necessarily agree with, but to listen to what they have to say, to see if we can learn, to see if we can understand why they may be doing or voting or saying the things that they're saying, and see if we can reach a common ground. My hope in this election, or with the election that has come, that there will be a transition, hopefully sooner rather than later, and that as we enter into a new government with a new Congress, that there can be a way of reconciliation, that there can be a way of common ground where people can reach a median or a mean where we can agree on some things to move this country out of the horrible rhetoric that we've heard over the past 4 years and into a situation where we can begin to respect each other and to see what we might have in common and be able to move this country forward to become what we'd like to think it is really a beacon to the rest of the world, to regain the credibility that we have had with the world, and to see if we can move forward with the world in terms of the many issues that really plague all of us. So that's my point tonight. And if anyone would like to ask any questions, please just send it in through your chat box, and I'll do my best to see if I can answer it. But again, we move forward. I'm hoping that with the COVID, vaccines are coming. But as Dr. Fauci said tonight, vaccines don't cure, vaccinations do. We have to get the population vaccinated for this to really turn into a situation that can be of great help to us. So I see a question here. What can we do as individuals to encourage civil discourse? Well, I think really one thing is that in the daily flowing of our lives, there are people, no doubt, who politically disagree with the way you or I might feel about a certain situation. And I think to be respectful, to listen. I think listening is the key thing, rather than have a mindset where I am right, you are wrong, or to be rigid ideologically, but to be open to other people and to let them speak and to see if we can learn from something from each one of us that might move us forward to the common good of all God's people. So that's my point for tonight. If there is nothing more, we'll end here. But again, I just want to let people know that we here at A Faith That Does Justice, we have not forgotten you. We reach out. We're hoping that you're well. I want to invite anyone to be in touch with us. You can be in touch through our webpage at www.faith-justice.org. You can email us at info@faith-justice.org, and we'd be happy to dialogue with you. You can always call the office here at 857-990-3670. So we wish you really a happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays that are coming. And just looking to see, I thought another question here, but no, just some greetings from one of our followers, and we're very happy about that. But have a happy holiday, have a safe holiday in terms of COVID. Be careful, be safe. And we look forward to the day when we can reunite. And meanwhile, please follow us on our email blasts that are coming out. We're keeping people informed. We are having continued web sessions, community meetings, and workshops by means of the Zoom conferences. So if you're not familiar with them, then just please watch for our emails. We will explain them and try to get you involved. We'd love to have your presence. So thank you, everyone, tonight. Be well, be safe, and we look forward to seeing you soon. So happy Thanksgiving to all. Bye now.